So you will have to accept the OG voiceover for this one. My strategy here, as stated before, was to own the right side of the map in a large flanking maneuver. It may sound crazy, especially considering the ship only has 4 anti-air guns. But the best conditions to do this under are when you are facing at least 2 carriers. Early game they won't have many planes stocked up and Deistland is quick and nimble enough to dodge most torpedo attacks. However, the best ship in the game can't save me from my skill issue of restocking consumables. Because the AI voice I use has such a hard time with pronouncing the word Deutschland, I will refer to her as Douche. Douche has an excellent AP shell, with only a 6-second reload, making it the perfect ship to berate those pesky heavy battleships with their heavy AP shells, or switch it over to HE and watch those reckless destroyer captains regret ever closing the distance to you. When targeting battleships, fire your guns as rapidly as possible and try to keep the fight between 4 and 2.5 kilometers out. This is the ideal range to score hit after hit, while also presenting a smaller target for the enemy to hit. Keep turning, and even though it may bring your aft or fore turret out of the firing arc, keep the target you present to the enemy minimal and turn back to fire from the gun that was out of range after the enemy fires, as most of their shots will likely miss due to the sudden turn. Keep hammering away at the battleships and keep maneuvering while also making use of your aft, wide-angle torpedo tubes when the enemy is less than 3 kilometers away. They can be used to force the enemy to broadside you if you want to secure more hits with your guns, or vice versa. Your guns can force your enemy to broadside you, sending them right in front of a torpedo spread. Torpedoes are a strategic weapon, so even if they missed 9 out of 10 times, they forced an enemy to make a turn they didn't want to make, giving you another advantage. This is a fine example of what not to do. Here a South Dakota is chasing me and I have 3 choices. Go straight, take less hits and then get stuck on the line. Go to my left and follow the friendly. Or go to the right and get behind cover. Only to a decent, however, I wouldn't have been in this scenario if I had just followed my friendly carrier back when I was dueling Rodney. Unfortunately, a tunnel vision came over me and I did not notice the South Dakota bearing down on me until after I started making panic turns, which set me up to take several broadside from a South Dakota, losing health that I could not possibly hope to recover. In a few moments, you will see my only saving grace was rapid, accurate AP hits and the South Dakota's carelessness going for a broadside, which put him in the path of my carrier's torpedoes, which is the real winner of this engagement. Here a non-painted non-flagged, and I'm assuming UN upgraded royal is approaching to challenge me, and remember those consumable issues I spoke of earlier? Well, they are coming back to haunt me. Now is not the time to panic. But it is the perfect time to angle and see if I can engage the royal with my aft gun and torpedo tunes. Perfect in a situation like this, and an advantage that no other ship has, so someone in a non-upgraded royal is going to be least likely to expect it. After fiddling with the speed, I find the angle I like and begin the attack with a spread of torpedoes and immediately start the turn so that I can engage with the torpedoes on the other side of my ship, as well as make my escape. The royal either doesn't suspect or doesn't care. Makes sense when you consider the ship I'm in and the health I have. However, word from the wise, if someone with a big fancy of a compensated name makes it to the end of the match with a high score in a trash but heavily upgraded ship, you but be gosh darn diddly sure that you can take them out in only a few rounds, and if there are any hiccups, either commit to the charge or turn away and try again later when you can catch them in a worse position. Here the island protects me from a few of his shots, but with my angle I'm able to get most of mine on target. Normally I would stick around and fight, but I have 0 reasons to do so now, so I start getting behind cover, and I let the torpedoes do the work. I do stick around because I immediately notice that I could potentially gun him down as he comes around the island before he gets the chance to broadside. However, in this case, it's a gamble that really shouldn't have been taken, as if none of the torps hit he could switch to AP and from there he probably would have won. But I guess he ran out of repairs as well. The remainder of the match is a lot of maneuvering and a big cat and mouse game with higher stakes, as one hit will kill me, so I had to play strategically, but also randomly until I felt enough planes had been expended for me to make my charge. I use a series of turns and random speed changes to make it harder to predict my next location, and when torps are thrown down to my right I give a slight turn and try to race to the end of the stream, kind of like a giant wave. This gamble pays off, and while I don't kill my opponent doesn't kill me. Surviving the match with a score of almost 900,000 is a win for me.